Hey everybody, Dave here, and what I wanted to do today was just make a very quick video to show you a very cool new Kronos editor. I don't want to say that I've discovered. Um, it was made by somebody named Janson, or Krister Janson. Either way, Krister has made a Kronos editor for the AL1 engine and the Poly 6 engine, which is just incredible. I can't get enough of this. It's wild. Korg already does have a computer-based editor, except I find that it desyncs, meaning it's kind of trying to show you what you would see on your Korg Kronos anyway, and what that means is that it's like it's taking a screenshot and then displaying it, but what happens is that those screenshots can get out of sync, and you make a change on the Kronos and it doesn't happen in the software, and vice versa, and like it's not reliable enough to use on a regular basis. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to discuss this Kronos editor. Again, I'll show you the website as well in a second. But this is made by I think it's Janson, who just did an incredible job, and I don't think is getting enough attention with regards to this AL1 editor, because it is awesome. It is so awesome. So the website is www.chrutil.com/Kronos. And I'll leave a link in the description below in the video, so you'll have a direct link to that as well. So this is his Kronos AL1 and Poly 6 editor, and wow, I am so pleased with how this thing works. So what I wanted to do was just show you a couple of things that I found that are really neat. So first off, if you're not one to do a lot of editing on the Kronos, so maybe you are familiar with analog synthesis, but you like tweaking knobs, right? So that's your thing. It's like you like twisting knobs and finding out what happens. This is perfect for you. If you're more comfortable using analog synthesis, so for example, you're not always necessarily comfortable looking at a page like this. You might say, well, where are the knobs? Where's the wave morph knob? Where can I manipulate that? Show me, like, what can I use this for, or how can I use this? So this is another great example of what this software is for. So let me just show you an example of a couple of things. So first off, you have multiple EXIs, so your sound generators, so EXI1 and EXI2. Currently, you'll notice that EXI2 is not enabled. EXI1 is. If I were to enable EXI2, and let's say I chose the Poly 6, because that is an engine that's supported, you'll notice the Kronos editor automatically updates. So we've got EXI1 and EXI2, which happens to be the Poly 6. So I'm actually just going to turn the volume on the Poly 6 down so we can focus on the AL1 just for a moment. So you have these buttons up along the top. They're like tabs, and everything's broken down in a very logical manner. So we have all of our oscillator settings. Then if you click on mixer, it brings us to your mixer settings. Then your filter, so all of your filter settings. And see these boxes down here kind of below the knobs? Those are your assignments. So you can assign, for example, in this case, we can say our filter, EG, or envelope generator, so filter A, envelope generator, is currently assigned to EG1, which is filter, but we have the ability to choose, right? In the same way you do in the Kronos. But you can also say, well, how much filter intensity is sent to this filter EG. So if you're familiar with analog synths, this is going to make you feel right at home, and this is actually something that I really like. Taking it a step further, we also have our amplifier page. So if you're used to doing things like this, like, look, I can just move my amp EG around. I can say, well, this is the shape I want it to be. I want it to swell first, so it's going to swell, then it's going to peak, and then it's going to sustain here. You can just draw it the way you want. You can move these points around, and if you're not comfortable with doing that, then you can do things like use the knobs. And you can see, even from a learning perspective, it allows you to see kind of what you're doing. And yes, I know this already exists in the Kronos, like I know this is here, but it's not necessarily intuitive, in that if you don't know what a lot of these things do, you might be afraid of messing things up. So this is a really nice way of being able to kind of manipulate stuff, right? And so, again, we have all of our assignments, we have keyboard tracking, we have our amp levels, and then we can go to our EGs or our envelope generators. So we have our 4 amp EGs, so by default EG1 is the filter, 2 is pitch, 3 and 4 are user assignable. We also have our LFO pages, and so we've got our 4 independent LFOs that can be used. Now you'll notice that there's no global LFO, there's no like common page stuff. That hasn't been implemented. I really, really hope that Krister continues to do software development for this, because they've done such a fantastic job, like just such a fantastic job. I can't promote this enough. This is going to become my primary editor when it comes to the AL1 engine, which I happen to program in quite frequently. So let me show you how easy it is if we're building a sound. So let's say I was going to program a bass sound. Okay, so first off, let's say I wanted to drop in an octave. We can do that. I'm going to make it really saw-based, so I'm going to kind of blend between the two. Let's make it a random initial phase. The tuning is okay. Yeah, well, that's pulse width, but that doesn't really matter for this. We don't want FM sync, and so oscillator 2 will do the same thing. We'll morph between them. The phasing is fine. Let's change the tuning though. So let's make this really kind of wide sounding here. There. So we've got that. So okay, so that's cool. Let's drop them both down an octave though. So let's go here. Okay, and so now I might want to manipulate, I don't need the mixer so much as it is the filter. So I suppose I could manipulate like oscillator levels. There, that's cool. So I'm going to go to the filter, I'm going to change this to that. We'll bring up the resonance a little bit. Okay, and let's bring... See, to me this feels a lot more like an analog synth because I'm manipulating knobs and I'm hearing the response right away. Again, not that you wouldn't if you're playing with the Kronos normally. It's just I find this, it feels more analog. But something else that's really cool is if you look on the actual Kronos, you'll notice as I'm manipulating this stuff, so look on the filter page, if I manipulate the resonance a little bit and then I start playing with the frequency, you can actually see it adjust right here. You can see it changing. Okay, so let me go back to the amp page, or to the amplifier page, and I want to bring up the drive a little bit. Okay, now I might want to manipulate my envelope, actually my amp page, because this is kind of doing this weird fading thing, so I want it to be a little bit more aggressive here, but with a release. Yeah, oh well, that works, but not so much release. Okay, cool. So again, at this point, now I can go to my other one, in this case the Poly 6. I'm going to use pulse width modulation. I'm going to have it pretty wide. Let's bring it down an octave. Okay, so you might want to turn the volume on these oscillators down, just so you can hear what you're doing. So I might just turn these off for now. So now we're only hearing the MS-20, or the Poly 6. Cool. So let's... And if I wanted to bring the resonance up a little bit here, where is it? There it is. Yeah, this is awesome. Like, it's just... Okay, let's throw it all together. That was all the way up. That was about there. And let's bring this up too. Yeah, see? Okay, that's awesome. And that took me, you know, less than a couple of minutes just to come up with a fairly decent sounding kind of analog style bass. So, couple of things. If you wanted to do something like make it monophonic, for example, you still have to go to the comment page and change it to monophonic and legato and that kind of thing. If that's... Also, if you're going to do things like put it in unison and make it really, really fat, you still have to do that through this interface because, again, Krister hasn't programmed this. Okay, that sounds pretty fat though. I like that. Anyway, long story short, I wanted to show you like how fast this is, how useful this is, because everything is kind of all right in front of you. You don't need to go searching for it. There's buttons here. For the Poly6, everything's all on the same page, so you don't have to flip between tabs. And I just find this incredibly, incredibly useful, and I just wanted to share with you this kind of thing. So please, please check it out and give props to Krister. This is a fantastic tool, and if you haven't downloaded it, I highly recommend that you do. Check it out. Go to the website. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the comment section below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks.